Thank you for joining me in this week's episode of the March Home. I'm super excited to be joined by my friend, Lauren Hartman. How are you today?
Good, how are you?
You know what? If hope were money, I'd be a millionaire. I'm just glad to be here. I'm glad to have you on the show.
I'm very excited to be here.
So my relationship with this young lady started at a Concerned Veterans for America briefing that we had at it was the old museum. What's the museum called? It's closed down now, but you know what? They need to open it back up at some point. They got a ton of beautiful things there.
It's in Largo.
Largo, yep. So that's where we met.
Armed Forces Museum in
yes, Largo. And one thing that I've seen you nonstop is active in everything.
Yeah, my lifestyle is post-traumatic growth, so I stay very active.
So where'd you get the term post-traumatic growth?
You know, I went to an orientation. There was Knucklehood. Brian Anderson stood up to talk about post-traumatic growth and how we stay rooted and grounded in the growth of every single day.
Yeah. So, and then you went on a retreat at the center. It was funny. This is the first person that I spoke with that like the next day she was at the center for a retreat. Like that quick is the turnover. Amazing how you came that.
Synchronicity. I was open and I'm like, come on, let's get this boots on ground. Let's go do this.
So,
climb the obstacles.
You climbed the obstacles, and so you've been a veteran for what, 12 years?
Yes.
You got out in 2006.
Correct.
And I've seen you in several different areas just helping out with veteran organizations. What is it that you do and why do you do it?
I'm a veterans activist, a veterans advocate. I'm really just a veteran who rooted and grounded in all things good. I do it because it wasn't there when I got out. So if I can watch someone bridge that gap and receive the treatment they need or have the smile they need or plant a tree that they want, to make that human connection to me is very important.
So let me ask you this, like when you think about that, when you first got out, 2006, so there probably wasn't 49,000 nonprofits serving veterans back then.
Negative, there was not.
and we know that was around the time when they were saying, okay, what's going on with this population of warriors coming home? So if you could take a comparison, just step back for a second and take a comparison between 2006 transition and if someone was getting out today for transition, has there been improvement and what improvements have you seen?
Tremendous improvements. Over the past 12 years, there have been tremendous improvements. The biggest improvements, I currently am volunteering with Home Base, which is an organization that helps. It's a 6-month transitional period, which gets the veteran into fitness. So I've watched warriors literally come off active duty and come right to home base. And it's
it gets them back into, you said fitness?
To civilian life, yes,
through
fitness.
Okay.
It comes with 2 yoga coaches, a sleep coach, a nutritionist for 6 months, plus a 1-year membership at a YMCA. So it literally is like a 1.5-year transition for them. And for a lot of veterans, it's been life-changing for them. So I don't see the struggle that I had.
So for that program, is that ran down here in Florida at all?
Yes, it is. The fitness aspect is run out of Fort Myers.
Oh, okay. So it's local for the veterans down in Fort Myers area?
Yes.
Okay. Is that going to be expanding? Is that growing? What's going on with that?
Yes, it is. It's very exciting right now. It is growing. They have an intensive clinical program also that's been spearheaded, and it's been nationwide. But the fitness program itself has been specific in the Atlanta, LA. They're getting some over in Boston, and there's another city that it's up and coming.
So did you say they get 2 yoga instructors, a chiropractor, and a partridge in a pear tree? Is that what it is?
Something like that.
It's a lot of things. So that's the home base, and that's
Yes.
one of the places that you volunteer for, and they're
Correct.
giving away. They're helping out warriors in a big way.
Yes.
Let me ask you this: the criteria for someone, is it when they're first getting out? What's the time frame that they're eligible to participate in a program like that?
Post 9/11 veterans, it's not specific. It can be warriors like me who've been out for 12, 15 years, or it can be warriors who are literally still in the mental aspect of active duty and come to us. Or still in the reserves. We have reservists as well.
That's pretty cool. So you're serving a wide variety of guys from post 9/11 forward. That's 16 years of warriors. And that's a good number of folks. That's amazing. Some of the other things that you do, I see you always running around with Concerned Veterans for America.
Yes.
So what's the motivation behind that?
A lot of the political view, I was first exposed to the political indulgence when I was sexually traumatized in the military, and realized that DOD wasn't as structured as I thought it was or as it perceived to be. So then I started getting very active in the political realm itself.
Yeah. When you say political realm, you mean legislation.
Yes.
I hope so, because man, it's hard to be anybody in politics
Yes.
right now. Like there's so much that goes back and forth with those guys. So, what are some of the key things that you think you've worked on that you've helped out with and you contribute towards?
My heart and soul, and I probably was like crying this morning watching an article about it. It's the VA Accountability Act.
Yeah, that's the new act that's coming out right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's very current, and it's the VA accountability. It's allowing whistleblowers protection within the VA system.
Now, let me ask this real quick. This is an accountability act. They've had other accountability acts. What's the difference between this and what's been out there before? Like, is there a change to it? Is it something that's really, are we really going to hold VA people accountable?
100%. I wholeheartedly believe that. Not only is there an office that's available for the whistleblowers and for veterans to contact the White House directly, that's just perspective of creating trust within the veteran community, but within the VA system itself, it's being able to get the correct technology that the VA needs. It's being able to not have the VA have one medical chart and the active duty have a different medical chart. It's to more of a seamless process for veterans to go through.
So it's kind of bridging a lot of gaps. And honestly, guys, if you're interested in that, look at last week's episode with Rick Disney. Awesome episode. And he talked a little bit about the Accountability Act. He got really excited just because he got to hang out with the president. Big deal for Rick Disney. You're friends with the guy too, aren't you?
Yes, I am. He's good people.
He is good people. He's over the program for Concerned Veterans for America in this area. And it seems like it's an interesting topic right now because, you know, I've looked across the board and I see so many things that need to be fixed for a veteran population, transition being one of them. If you had a magic ball, let's just say, let's throw a magic ball right in between.
Yes.
What would be the ideal transition for a warrior?
The ideal transition would be a year extended in the contract, so a year to process out, to give them a year mentality to what do they really want to do? Do they want to create a business? Do they want to go back to school? What do they want to study? And expose them to it prior, so instead of a 3-year contract, a 4-year contract, and that last year being a transition back to civilian life, allowing the veteran to ultimately unprogram, deprogram, or decompress, or find a route or street an avenue they want to go down to not only help their mind, body, spirit, but ultimately their family structure as well.
So you advocate a lot for veterans. I gotta ask this. You've seen veterans who have succeeded tremendously. They've done a great job.
Yes.
Do you think more of that would happen if warriors had a transition like that? What do you think would be the effect
Yes.
on our society as a whole, across the nation? Because we're only 1% of the population. What would be the effect?
I love that you say it like that because I truly see the effect as veterans leading, that we are less than 1% of society, so therefore we are born leaders, we are trained leaders, it's who we are, it's what we do is to serve, and who we are is to lead. So to be leaders within the community would create more change within the community, and then to be able to build bigger, stronger communities and more connections.
So what do you think that in that whole transition process, and you know, one thing that I kind of skirted away from was the military sexual trauma aspect, but I want to get back to that because I think there's something good to talk about it. In the transitional piece, though, what do you think DOD owes to our warriors? You think that 1-year window, is there something else, like when guys go in or get out, is there something else that's owed to them through DOD or through the VA in general? In your thoughts?
Not necessarily owed. I would say benefits have been earned.
Yeah.
If anything has been earned, it's the health care.
Yeah.
It's to take care of their mind, body, spirit, to take care of them, to bridge the gap, to allow them to embrace where they are.
Yeah. So military sexual trauma, it's a hot topic.
It is.
It's a hot topic. You know, we now have a lot of females going into combat arms, entering the ranks. You know, in 2006, it probably wasn't that big of a topic.
It was not.
Now it's a much bigger topic.
Yes.
Have you seen what progressions they've made in just awareness and really kind of support for our military sexual trauma victims across the military and across the VA? What difference have you seen in a 12-year period?
I actually studied this while I was in nursing school and did my junior and senior thesis on military sexual trauma.
See, perfect question. Perfect question.
The innate ability to, first of all, back in 2006 compared to 2017 that we're currently in, it's the ability that males are coming forward more Males are feeling more comfortable. One statistics show 1 in 100 males are raped or have military sexual trauma, and 1 in 5 women. That doesn't discredit the women, but at the same time, the women population is more prone to commit suicide right now. So to be a veterans advocate, it's for me to speak of MST and overcoming and showing what's worked for me in different routes that I've gone down, and to truly speak freely about it to take away the stigma, and so they can receive treatment or know there's options for it.
So, military sexual trauma, where is there treatment for it?
Military sexual trauma while you're still active,
When you get out of the military, when you move to Tampa, where is someone going?
you can go to Veterans Alternative. And they-
Yes, you can. The Veterans Alternative, veteransalternative.org. Where's the other places that they have out there?
The biggest MST is through Bay Pines right now.
Okay.
They have a 6-month MST program.
Oh, wow.
Yes, at the domiciliary, they have a 6-month, and it's the #1 PTSD program in the United States right now through the VA.
Yep.
And you can also go through Home Base, which is another homebase.com, and that's another intensive clinical program you can go through. They specifically it's part of the Warrior Care Network with Wounded Warrior Project, and part of that is they have a specific treatment center specifically for MST.
So when you say 6 months at Bay Pines, is that inpatient? Like you're staying at Bay Pines for that 6-month period?
residential,
It's
yes.
residential. Wow. And is there freedoms for the people to have movement? Are they able to go to
Yes.
the store and pick something up? Like, are they locked in place?
No. They have work hours, if you
Yep.
will. So it's from 8 until 5, you're studying and you're learning your different coping skills and coping. They like to use skills over pills, trying to get away from more of the pill pushing aspect of it and get down to the true essence of.
Wait a second. Stop that nonsense. She said the VA is doing that? Come on. They're always popping pills, right? Isn't that what they push?
I refuse to believe that, Brian Anderson. I
But-
refuse to believe that.
But this program at Bay Pines for MST, that you're
Yes.
saying that
They help me get off my medications, yes.
That's
They
amazing.
help me get off very addictive medications.
And see,
yes.
that's not a story that we hear about the VA.
True.
It's not a story that we hear about the VA. Listen, I got to tell you, I'm absolutely thankful that you came in to be on this show. I'm going to have you as a repeat offender to come back in and hear some more of the great things that you're doing in the community. Guys, stay tuned. The next segment, we're filming from the farm in Burlington, Vermont. You guys can't wait for that. It's going to be amazing.
Ever need a doctor after hours? Well, searching won't help. But what do? You could go to the urgent care or ER, but if only there was a better way. Introducing the MNO Plus Card. No waiting rooms, no copay, no consultation fee, giving you 24/7 access to a doctor by phone or online. It's easy to get started with affordable plans starting at $15 a month for a family of 5. For more information, visit mnoplus.com today.
Welcome to Raceface Brand Development. You might be asking, what is Raceface Brand Development? We are all about helping young drivers get noticed while creating a brand. If your branding isn't part of your strategy and you're looking for a competitive advantage in the marketplace, I encourage you to reach out to us at Raceface Brand Development and let us provide you a free consultation on how we can help further your driver's career.
81% of consumers search online before even setting foot in a store. We help you create a strong foundation for your digital reputation. We help build your online presence to improve search engine rank and make sure your business information is correct across the web. You could do all of this on your own, but why would you spend more than 300 hours a year working on this? You have a business to run. Save time and put our software to work for you.
Welcome back to the March Home. Like I said in the last segment, we're in Burlington, Vermont, and we're at Fowler's Farm. I'm here with Bruce. Bruce, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. This is Whiting.
Whiting. What did
Whiting.
I say?
You
What
said
did
Burlington.
I said
We're
I'm
close, but not
I'm visiting Burlington. We're down in Whiting. It's about an hour and a half from there, but you lived in Burlington for a little while.
I lived in Burlington for 4 years.
And now you've got a pretty interesting story. We talked a little bit about it. We're out here at your farm. You started in the food industry in general. You worked inside the military. Tell me a little bit about your career.
I've worked, well, initially when I got out of the Army the first time in 73, 74, I moved to Vermont to ski. And one of the ways to ski in Vermont was to work in a restaurant. If you worked as a dishwasher in a restaurant, you got a free pass.
I had a lot of friends in high school. When I lived up here in Vermont, I had a few friends that I remember as they got older, they started going to the slopes.
Right. So I was able to stay up here and get a pass to ski. And we used to have a thing where we had to ski every day, one run, everybody, and we were in a club.
Oh, so it was the club. It wasn't because you worked there. It was the club that...
No, above and beyond, we all had our passes. We all worked at different restaurants, but we all were this little clique that we would try to ski at least one run a day.
Yep.
And you put $1 in the pot. And anybody that skied every single day through the season, at the end of the season, you get to share that pot of money on top of Mount Washington, Tuckerman's Ravine, at the next ski season.
That's awesome.
So if there was 20 people, but only 5 finished, those 5 took that money to Tuckerman's Ravine.
So that's how you got up to Vermont.
That's how I got up to Vermont. And I've always enjoyed cooking. In both of my different situations within the military, I ended up as a food service sergeant.
Yep.
And when I retired from the Mountain Battalion, I ended up a food service sergeant there too. So
Now that's the mountain school up here in Vermont,
the
right?
Mountain School and the Mountain Battalion are both here in Jericho, Vermont.
Oh, they're two different entities.
Yes, sir. The Mountain School is where people would have come from other places.
Across the Army, across the military.
Navy, Green Beret, Airborne, whatever, go to the Mountain School
Yep.
to be trained for mountaineering.
And you cooked.
And I cooked for both the Mountain School sometimes and for the Mountain Battalion, which was the battalion exercises that
Yep.
brought in howitzers or mortars or infantry or communications or all these other different, and we would be up in St. Allen firing range.
Now you found yourself, you've gone through a couple of deployments, you served inside the military, and you found yourself homeless at one point.
I did. I just trusted the wrong people. I trusted the wrong people when I was deployed in 07, and I ended up losing everything.
Yeah.
And that was a tough, for a proud soldier, that was tough.
You know, I've heard a lot of stories about guys coming home from deployments and, you know, houses being empty, businesses being destroyed, all these different things. That's a hard thing to overcome, but you really kind of have. How did first of all, Fowler's Farm came out of your homelessness, right?
Yes, it did.
Can you explain that a little bit? Can you tell us the story?
I ended up, there's been other stories, you know, here regarding the fact that I started out in the Veterans Home, the Veterans Place in Northfield, Vermont. And thank God I had a place to go. I had no money and my house was gone, so I somehow, through friends, was able to get in there. While I was in there was another soldier. He was a Vietnam era veteran. He was a combat medic and had done several tours. He wasn't doing well physically, but we commiserated, having both been in the service at the same time, not necessarily in the same places, but anyway, he was having most difficulty. So we commiserated, we told our stories. I told him what I used to do, which was taking care of some difficult people sometimes within the state, different agencies and so on and so forth. And I talked about some of the different individuals that I had and some of the funny stories that go along with them and how you have to adapt to help their situation.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and then I started bringing in veterans. And, you know, I had a couple of Marines and Delta Force. And, you know, these people go through some very incredible stuff. And then to adapt back into civilian life is tough. Well, I realize that farming is one of the things where you can talk about anything, but it's much more lower key, and you got to get some food out of it. So this guy at the Veterans Place said, you know, we should just do what you used to do, taking care of people and helping feed them. You should do that here, but just for veterans. So he and I, this gentleman at the Veterans Place, he and I created this program to help the soldiers, veterans, male or female, old or young, come here and learn how to farm, be with some soldiers, learn how to maybe make your own item, your own salsa, or your own spaghetti sauce, or pickles, or whatever. And we'll show you how to make it, how to grow it, how to create it, how to package it, how to label it, and we'll even help you distribute it. Because that's what I've done.
And this place is absolutely gorgeous. Like, I look across the street and I'm seeing mountain ranges all around. As you took me through a tour, I'm just seeing the hills and the backside and the cedars. I mean, it's just absolutely gorgeous. And
Yeah.
you have, what's the acreage you have here?
We got about 12 acres.
12 acres, and you have several pigs.
We've got 20 some odd hogs now. I think nine of them are bred. So we'll be
Wow.
having piglets next month. Lots of piglets.
That's amazing. You've got freezers full of meat right now.
Right now, I have whole shoulders, whole loins, pork chops, bacon, sausage, all right here.
And now you already have guys who are coming out here on a regular basis. You have, was it 50 or 60 veterans that come out
On a monthly basis.
on a monthly basis?
Yes.
And so you guys have you've only been here with
Few
this
years.
program for a few years,
2
and you're
years.
already you keep on running with it.
And it's like a program in the military. You start out with what you got,
Yeah.
and you aim for something that's better than that. And so as we get more people that want to participate, it's easier and we can expand a little bit more. But ideally, in my other farm, I had a CSA, community supported agriculture, where people came and worked and you got food.
Yeah.
So this is the same premise as that. But I'm focusing on just veterans and not just the public. I do have a food shelf here. I do help the food shelf in town here.
Yep.
I cook for them. Generally Mondays I cook for them, and they have sandwiches and stuff, and I give them that. I like making food, and I
And
like
you've-
recycling food.
And you've done this a lot.
Done it most of my life.
That's
Most of
pretty
my-
impressive.
Since the 70s, I've recycled. Ben and Jerry's, when they opened, I got to meet them early on when they were first making their ice cream, and I used to get 5-gallon buckets of the ice cream from Ben and Jerry's when they purged from Chunky Monkey to Jerry Garcia. That ice cream they couldn't sell, so my pigs would eat it.
No kidding.
A rotten life they had.
I've got a couple of pictures. I know that we'll throw them in here somehow. This isn't a green screen. This is real. This is Vermont that we have here. But the pigs, it's so funny. You know, eat like a pig. It's definitely true.
Oh yeah.
When you see those guys, they're right in it.
And last year it was 90 degrees. You couldn't find a tablespoon of water here. And now the mud's like a lava slide.
Yeah.
They don't mind that. They don't mind that, and they actually need mud to cool off during these hot days.
And that really kind of helps out. So, what's your goals here? What do you want to accomplish for our veteran population?
I want a place where any veteran can come and spend time. It's a little. There's a couple of places in Vermont that do something like this, where you can just come and chill, or you can work in the garden, or you can just walk around, or if you're in a wheelchair, everything will be wheelchair accessible.
Yeah.
So anybody in a wheelchair, fear not, that you'll be able to go through my gardens and to go down to the pond, which we're digging out now, and eventually having a trout pond, so you'll be able to go fishing.
But this place, before you got it, it was
Abandoned.
It was abandoned.
Pretty much abandoned. There was an elderly lady that lived here, but nothing had been done to the fields or the paddocks or the barn for many, many years.
Bruce, you've done some amazing work here.
I like refitting, and this is an old structure built in the late 1800s, but the same with the house. It's still functional. There's no insulation in my entire house, and it's cold. The first winter I was here, it was 30 degrees below zero outside, and it was freezing just inside.
That's so that's the reason why I live in Florida. The summer times up here, if anything, I'd be a snowbird. The summer times up here are absolutely gorgeous, and right now the farm is just. You've got the life. You walk out, you breathe
I'm
fresh
blessed.
air.
This is my second chance. I never thought I would get a second chance, but I have a second chance. So this is my second chance, and I'm enjoying, and the people that come here and read off of that, I just like what I'm doing.
You know, that's what really impresses me the most is that you found yourself homeless. You went through a tough time. You came back from a deployment serving this nation and found yourself in a really tough bind.
Yep.
And since then, you've kind of turned that completely around.
Right.
You're here running a farm trying to give back to others.
Yes.
I'm super proud of you for doing that. And
Thank
I'm
you.
thankful that I kind of get to walk around here. So some of the ways that you kind of started this business out, what are those things that happen? Like you told me before, you've talked to a few different folks, but you've attracted a lot of people to support you.
Yes, yes. So, I mean, I used to take care of special needs people, and with that, there was a giant network of things that you could help people do. And I was good at finding those people and then remembering that so and so, you need to talk to him about this, or you need to do this, or you need to do that. So we're doing the same thing here. I should be affiliated with the VA, but the VA.
It takes time, man. It's always a beast that takes time, you know?
So it's okay. The Veterans Administration doesn't want to work with me.
Well, you know what? I can tell you this. I had that same feeling. And I can tell you the VA, though, they keep on changing. We just saw it not too long ago. Manchester VA.
Manchester, yeah.
Listen to this, folks.
Changes.
Manchester VA, the director, whoosh, fired, let go. And that is huge. That is huge. That means that Accountability Act that just passed, it's actually meaning something.
Actually working. And somebody from the VA here in Vermont went to fill that position.
That's awesome.
It is.
You guys got an awesome system up here. A lot of great people that you have working and supporting the veteran population.
There's an awful lot of veterans in this area. A lot of farming, a lot of farmers, and a lot of veterans. I'm amazed at the percentage of veterans that are in this area.
Yeah.
Some of them have been homeless. Some of them still live in the woods. You know, it just sucks that.
Hope they don't do it during the winter.
Yes. Oh, yeah. These are 12 months of the year they live in the woods. When I was at the veterans home, a lot of guys came out of the woods, said screw it, and went back.
Yeah.
You know, you can only take so much of society sometimes. So.
Well, tell me something. If someone wanted to reach out to you at Fowler's Farm, how do they do it?
We have a website, Fowler's R&R Ranch Incorporated, or at info@Fowler's R&R Ranch, and we have a Facebook page, Fowler's R&R Ranch, or call Bruce Fowler
Yeah.
here in Whiting.
We got all those messages, guys. Thank you so much for joining me up here in Burlington, Vermont. And
In Whiting,
Vermont.
Whiting,
I keep on getting that confused. But Vermont is, I put it all together.
There
That's
you
what I
go.
can't help it.
There you go.
Bruce, thank you so much for coming,
Pleasure.
for allowing us to be out here, taking us for the tour. You've got a beautiful farm, and I'm really proud of the work that you're
Come
doing.
and visit. Come and visit.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week on the March Home.